Hello, and this is Aubi-Nation, and we are going to try something completely different today. This is called the Kerbal Space Program, and we're going to do a couple of different things. First, we're going to do, I don't even know what we're going to do. We're going to try and see how it works out. For those of you who are new to the Kerbal Space Program, this is a sandbox game right now. Let's call ourselves Aubi-Nation. Start. And, oh yeah, that's right, I already have something going. Aubi-Air flight. No flights in progress. So, the basic gist of this game is to create rockets or airplanes and be able to launch them and fly them. It's a basic sandbox game with all the physics engines in the real life world sort of thing. So you got drag, you got lift, you got thrust, and on weight, and all that other fun stuff. So if we look here, this is like our little communications device. This is our solar system. We start here on a planet called Kerbal. We've got the moon, we've got Minmus, and let's see what else we have here. I haven't looked at any further here. We've got Gilly, Moho, Jewel, and Kerbal, I think they're calling it, but it's the sun, and Duna, and that is it so far, I think. So we're going to see where this game takes us. So the first things first, we're going to create ourselves a rocket. So we'll just do the basic command module number 1 and accept. And this is this looks very similar to the what's the program that I remember? Spore. Very similar to Spore. Like everything's a little module. You can take it, move it around. You can add pieces. You can see there's 2 little blips on the top and bottom there, and you can use that to add stuff to. So over here we've got the vehicle assembly, and we've got a couple of different tabs. So we've got propulsion, command and control, structural and aerodynamics, utility and scientific, decals, and crew. Now, this is one of the earlier versions, so we don't have absolutely everything. Crew and decals aren't available yet, but certain utilities, which are kind of not really useful yet, but they will be. One thing I need to remember to put on is a parachute. So first we're going to take a parachute. Oh, and I missed already. Put it, it'll snap to. There we go. So now these guys have the chance to make it safely down to Earth. Now you can see these little Kerbals here. That's really cool. While you're building, they've got little things going on. You got guys guiding you along the side here, so the edges. So yeah, this is a really neat little game. I don't think there's a real objective yet, but we'll create our own objectives and go along with it. So I think at first we're just going to try to get into orbit, and we'll see how that works. So for that we're going to need propulsion. We're just going to do basic stuff here. Wait, before we do that, we have to specify what we want to actually be part of everything. So we're going to take a decoupler. Whoa, that's way too big. Sorry, wrong one. Is that the one? Yeah, there we go. So this will help to take, we'll blast this apart from this when that stage particularly comes. Now if you see on the right here, it's got the different stages of what happens. So what happens is you go through different stages, and you start from 2, you go down to 0. So the first stage right now is just the fuel pod, which really doesn't do a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take propulsion, go for a liquid fuel engine, and we'll go with another decoupler, and that will, I remember in the old version it used to cover the rocket itself. That kind of doesn't look okay. Now before it used to cover it, but now it doesn't seem like it's covering it at all, so hopefully that will work, and that having an exposed body won't cause too many issues here. No, it wasn't there. Okay, so we'll get a liquid fueled engine here. After that, we are going to, let's actually put this one on there. There you go. And then we'll take that one for later. So we'll just have a small one for the last stage. Remember, we're building from last to the first stage. Let's see here. What else do we got? Fuselage, jet fuel. How big is that? Is that thing got fuel tank? Yeah, that's a fuel tank. So we can put that in there. We'll leave it like that. We'll maybe give it the bigger engine there. And then we're going to need a decoupler again. And then we're going to go with a solid rocket booster. Those are usually the most efficient solid fuel. So let's throw you right on the bottom like so. This looks a little crazy at first, but we'll see how it goes. Now, it's one thing to just have this thing shoot straight up in the air. I mean, that's going to be pretty impossible to steer. So what we can do, they're called thrust blocks or SAS modules. Now they're stability systems, and they help to keep everything in order. So what we can do is we can just throw that on the bottom of here. So that'll keep us stable to a degree. We're going to put a thruster block on. Now we're also going to create symmetry here. This is the snap to the angles. If we don't click that, it'll just go anywhere we put it. If we click on the snap to angles, it'll only be a certain point. So it's a lot easier to get better symmetry with that. We can have it on opposite size, triple, quad, hexa, and octa. So we don't need that many SAS modules. I think we can stick with, let's say, 4. So that'll get us into a good position here. We'll put you, let's put you right here on the fuel tank, right there. So that's looking pretty good. Now these aren't very effective at the higher altitudes, or at the lower altitudes. What you need at the lower altitudes is fins and stuff like that. So let's take the winglet, or yeah, let's take a winglet. There we go. Put you near the bottom. Now let's see how that works out. Now we might want to, actually I'm going to take one, put it on the bottom booster. I'll take one, put it on the top booster. There we go. Okay, so this is looking fairly simple. This is hopefully what we're going to need to get up there. I've got myself a parachute, check. That's a way for these Kerbals to get down. Now this particular module is only going to carry one person, so that's fine. That's all we need. And as you can see, there's tons of other options. We can go off of a stereotypical single rocket design, and we can make like the shuttle launch or whatever. We can experiment with that, but right now we'll try to make everything down the middle as weight balanced as possible. Now to figure that out, we've got these 3 buttons here. So we've got the center of lift. So the center of lift seems to be here, and that's based on these fins and these fins here. The center of thrust. So since all the rockets are directly in line with each other, there's no way that it's going to be anywhere other than straight down the middle. That's what we expected. And the center of gravity, the center of mass, is right there, smack dab in the middle. So with all 3 of these lining up, we can pretty much expect this to be a fairly stable rocket and go straight up. So let's test that theory out and let's see how well it works. So what we're going to name this, we'll name it the Aubi-Rocket. How original, Mr. Aubi-Nator. And I think that's all we need to do for now. We've got that. Let's give it a blast. So we save it there as Aubi-Rocket, and we go out to the launch pad. Yes, I had a little crash earlier with the Aubi shuttle. Just disregard that. You will see a little later. Okay, so here is the launch pad. Now it'll take a couple seconds for it to get initialized, and then all of a sudden it'll figure itself out. So here we are on the launch pad. Nothing's going to obstruct us. Everything looks hunky-dory, and we've got a whole bunch of different displays and stuff like that. So first things first is you've got the control surfaces. You can see even on the ship it's controlling them quite well, and even just moving them while it's on the platform, because I didn't stabilize it with a stable docking platform. So right now it's actually resting on the rocket booster. Probably not a good idea. Well, we'll see how it works out. So we've got pitch, roll, yaw, and all of our stages. So the first stage is the solid booster, followed by decouple, followed by the liquid booster in the middle, followed by another decoupler in the middle, and then our other liquid fuel booster. And then that'll decouple this pod with a parachute so we can easily get down. And there is our man, our space, we'll call him the Aubi-Naut, Kamin Kerman. So Kamin Kerman, you are the first Aubi-Naut of the Aubi-Space Program, and we're going to see how far you go. Now there's a couple things we can do to stabilize it. They're called the computer controls, so the stabilization systems, which is this thing here, and then the RCS, which is using these to control yourselves and keep yourself stable. So throttle here, we've got the artificial horizon ball here, your G-force meter, we've got a vertical speed indicator up here with your altitude in meters, and then it tells you how thick your atmosphere is, so as you go up your atmosphere goes down. And I think that's pretty much it. We've also got a map view, but we'll get into that when we need to. So we'll start up by throttling all the way up, make sure that these two are stabilized, good to go, and we'll launch in 3, 2, 1. Alright, here we go. As you can see, we are going straight up with no problems. There's a little fuel gauge that is here for that particular rocket booster. And you see our altitude is going way up. Once this fuel runs out, we'll then disengage this and see how we end up there. So let's decouple it and initiate our liquid. So that thing is now falling straight down to the ground. This rocket, all the debris that you have will eventually end up down to the surface. And we're losing stability here. We're going to have to manually control this. For some reason, all of a sudden, all this started going crazy. Oh my goodness. Maybe this won't be the run to make it into orbit. We'll see how it goes. Why are we all over the place? Why are we all over the place? Come on. Come on back. Come on back. Here we go. Let's get rid of that. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, that was the problem. All of a sudden, we are stable once again. Now, we don't have much fuel left, so let's try to get us into an orbit. Let's turn off the computer controls here, and let's put us at a 45-degree angle here. No, come on back up. Come on back up. And let's stabilize this right there. Okay, so computer controls on. Let's take a look at what is the map. This is going to be a pretty weak orbit. So the apoapsis, which is the top of our trajectory, is not going to be high enough. That's for darn sure. So I'm going to try to get us at a higher altitude. We've gone well off, of course. We're going to see if we can eventually get ourselves back. But we've got a lot of fuel to go. We should be able to do it, no problem. So we see how well this kind of works out. And let's see if we can just go straight up. Straight up. Mr. Cameron is freaking out. But don't worry, you've got a parachute. You should be in good hands. And this is our little planet here. We're going to see if we can get this up to 40,000, let's say. I don't know if we're going to be able to. Are we at full throttle? Yeah, we're at full throttle. What kind of rocket booster is this? Oh, that's the tiny one. This really isn't meant for to create these sort of forces, so to pull us up there. But this looks like a pretty stable rocket. That's pretty good. Well, we can tell this guy to get out of his rocket, but I don't think we're going to do that yet. Okay, 35, let's call that good. We're going to cut. We're going to cut this, and we're going to wait until we hit our apoapsis, and then we're going to take that and thrust directly onto the horizon. So which direction is that? That's this way here. We'll turn the computer controls off, bring ourselves around. Now the only reason we're able to do this is because we've got the right control surfaces. So we've got, oops, whoa! These fins are awesome. Okay, we're just approaching it now. You can tell that because this is the direction that you're traveling. So we're going to go full speed again. We'll see if we can't maintain an orbit of some sort. Yeah, I'm no rocket scientist, as you probably know. We're going to see if we can pull this orbit all the way out. But with the amount of fuel we have left, I doubt that is going to be possible. Should we just return you to base? We'll just return you to base. How's that sound? We know we're not, we're just going to abort. Okay, now this is the opposite. So this is the, I forget what they call this, but this is the opposite retrograde portion. So if you were to burst towards that, you would slow yourself straight down. And this is like where the tail is actually going to go. Okay, so we are out of fuel now. and we were just coasting. And because we knew we weren't going to make an orbit, we decided to thrust ourselves back, and we're going to end up in the middle of the ocean. Which, unfortunately for the Kerbals, or the Aubi-Nauts, they're unable to swim. So we're just going to decouple here. Let's see if we can just go like this. See how that works out. Don't bump into us too hard. There we go. Now we're free falling. We're free, and that thing's going to fall down to the ground, but we are accelerating because that was creating a lot of drag. And now we're going really, 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 really fast. But that's okay. We have a parachute. Let's see if we can initiate it there, 10,000 feet. And it's only going to be a small little parachute at first. It'll slow us down gently, and then as soon as we get down to a certain altitude, it'll deploy into what is called a full cannon. He's freaking out there a little bit. Where did the rest of our rocket go? Is it gone? Is it above us? Or is it already hit the water? I don't see it. Anyways, so we're going to make a water landing. Hopefully this thing floats. I have no idea. Nonetheless, I think you're going to be happy and you're going to survive this, that's for sure. Let's take a quick closer look at this thing. Warning. Hatch was open. Hatch is open? Oh, I don't know. Something else just hit the water here. It's probably our other capsule. And we've hit 500 mark. Boom. Parachute slow us right down. Our vertical speed indicator is only showing us at -5, -6 meters per second. Ah, there it is there. And this is an easily survivable attempt to make it into orbit. Obviously, we didn't make it into orbit, so we're going to have to try that again, maybe with some bigger rockets or more fuel. Maybe that's what we need to do. We just need to get more fuel for that second booster. Maybe that'll get us along. So we can speed this along. Go through a time lapse here. Oh yeah. Don't show this again. Thank you. And our altitude is 150 meters. We'll bring it right down to the surface and see what happens when we hit the water. Down to time warp 1. And here's the water level. Will we survive a water encounter? Let's find out. Yay! Mr. Cameron was all happy for a second there, if you noticed. Okay. That being said, now he's out and about. We're going to end the flight. Yes. Go back to the vehicle assembly building, and we're going to try something. We're going to take this off. We're going to add another fuel tank. Maybe we will replace this with something a little more beefy. I'm not sure why that was so unstable. Oh, I probably know why. Maybe we can bring this up a level so that when we lose this booster, we still have stability with the fins to a degree. And this was a pretty good point. Let's bring that to the center portion. And that should be alright. That should do it. We'll keep it down the center line again. We'll just at least try to get into orbit. I think that is so. We'll save that. We'll launch. There's nothing on the pad this time, so that's a good thing. Okay. Oh yes, we were going to create ourselves a platform structure, but instead we're just going to rest on the booster and hope that we don't tip over. We are good. Okay, so we're going to put on the computer controls, the SAS and the RCS. Throttle up for the liquid. Now the one thing to note is that the solid booster, as soon as you launch that, it's done. There's no aborting that. Well, you can abort, but it's not. You can't stop it, or it's full blast or off. That's it. Well, there's no off. Once you start it, that's it. I guess I have no idea what I'm talking about. So let's see if we can do this a little faster. Oh, you can see there's an overheat mark. We didn't see that before. Maybe we did. I don't know. That'll say that this has been on too long. Let's get rid of that. Throw that back down. We don't need you. We're going to try. This looks like it's a lot more stable than it was before. We're going to bring this up so we can see what's happening while we're out here. we're going to try to bring our apoapsis up to, let's say, 40,000. This is pretty stable, as you can see. We'll do a roll check. Oh, wow. Now that has got some balls to it, I'll tell you. Oh, out of fuel now. Try doing this. So we're up to 10,000. See, the surface speed is increasing, our altitude is increasing, stability is nominal. We've got one fuel tank here that's emptying, but we have a second one here. Now I noted that this is draining a lot more fuel than the previous ones. I don't know how much more effective it was. Maybe we'll have to use a small fuel pod next time. Well, we're already up to 30 for the apoapsis, so that's good. We're going to get up to 40 before we cut engines. Oh, it's going up real fast. Okay, let's wait till 60 then. I think, okay, cut the engines. 60,000. And we're going to drift upwards for a little bit. Now, at that, we're going to arrange ourselves. Let's see, which way are we going to want to go here? Away from the island. So we want to go this way. Oh, no, that's that way. And we're going to turn off the controls here. I see. We are drifting slowly towards the Earth this way, so we're going to go over here. Adjust ourselves to about there. Let's make the horizon, an actual horizon here so that we're facing the right way. Ooh, man, she is rolling fast, I'll tell you. Engage controls. He's still freaking out. He has no idea what's about to come. But we are at a good point. And right at this point, I am going to engage full throttle. We're going to see if we can throw this one over. Okay. Now look at that. Here we go. This is looking promising, looking promising. We want to make it so that it goes all the way around. Go down a little bit. Oh, jeez, are you kidding me? Ran out of fuel. I had a lot more fuel in the last burner. Okay, well, I guess this mission is over. Decouple. Say sayonara. Whee! As he's freaking out, he's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" So yeah, eventually we'll both make it down into the middle of this ocean. And because I don't want to wait for that to happen, I don't know how we have so much control with this thing. Maybe it's got some, oh yeah, it's got some SAS stuff. Stability systems. This is pretty cool. So there's rocket debris. That'll eventually go down. That's good. We want to make sure that that goes down. In fact, will it show you separately the rocket debris and the Aubi-Rocket? That's both of our paths. Now, if I were to engage the... Oh, there's no parachute yet. It's not doing anything. Once we get into an atmosphere, that'll definitely do something. We were close. We were close this time. Given it a couple of extra seconds, I probably would have been able to switch it around. So, let's go. Let's end flight here. End flight. Vehicle assembly building. And we are going to withdraw this piece and put... Whoa, that guy's pretty big. I don't remember being... Ah, there it is. I'm going to put that guy back on. See how that does. And for good measure, we are going to take some solid rockets. And we're going to put a whole bunch right down here. I'll put it right in line. There we go. So, as you can see here, the first stage is still going to be solid rockets, but that'll get us up a lot faster, a lot quicker. And we'll kind of go with it from there. We're going to give this one more attempt. Hopefully this will work. I certainly hope so. There's no reason why this shouldn't happen. Oh, I forgot to do something. Is this still loading? Yeah, it's still loading. Go back to the Space Center. Let us put a frame on here so that it's not resting on itself. Let's put it right there. Okay, and we're going to put this down. We're going to add another segment here. We're going to bring this down into this stage. So what happens is we'll blast these first, we'll release ourselves, and then the next one after that, once we've flown for a little bit, we'll need to decouple. So here we go. I think that is good. Save, and let's go. Clear the launch pad. Okay, now this time it's being held up over here. You can see it's kind of dangling. Maybe I could have put a couple of extra holds on it, but whatever, that'll work for now. So first stage will be to engage these rockets and then to release us. So let's see how this works. Okay. Alright. Not what I was expecting.